Hey foodies, welcome and welcome back to Cooking with Kiana. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make the most flavorful and delicious creamy Cajun Alfredo pasta with some salmon to go with it. If you guys are interested with this recipe, keep on watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you guys hit that notification bell so you guys can become a part of the foodie family and you guys do not miss weekly recipes. Now let's get started. Now let's take a look at everything that we're going to be needing for this recipe. Remember, correct measurements and a list of all the ingredients will also be listed in the description box below, so you can go ahead and check that out as well. I'm going to be using a mixture of mozzarella cheese and Parmesan cheese, grape tomatoes, scallions, garlic, onions. For seasonings, I got some lemon pepper seasoning, some garlic and herb seasoning, some Old Bay, and some Cajun seasoning. I'm also going to be using about 4 slices of applewood cut smoked bacon, and I'm just going to go ahead and chop that up into little cubes. It's going to give that Cajun cream sauce a ton of flavor. I'm also going to be using some mushrooms. Then I have my fettuccine. We got some wine to go in there as well as heavy whipping cream. A little bit of basil paste to go inside of that Cajun cream sauce. And then I just have some honey to go onto our salmon. And this is the salmon that I'm going to be using today. This is about 1 pound of salmon. I just went ahead and cut them into 3 individual fillets. So the first thing I'm going to do is start off by cooking my fettuccine noodles. And you just want to follow the directions on the back of the package for al dente cooking time. Making sure you stir it occasionally every so often so your pieces do not stick together. And once those noodles are all done, you just want to make sure you drain out that water. Now let's go ahead and set our noodles aside so we can get started on our salmon. Now I'm just going to go ahead and drizzle about 2 tablespoons of olive oil over my salmon. That way that seasoning could better adhere. Just go ahead and rub that oil in with your hands. And now I'm going to go ahead and mix up all my seasonings. And if you didn't hear from earlier, I'm using some Old Bay, some Cajun, some lemon pepper, and some garlic and herb seasoning. Make sure you mix those seasonings in so everything is well combined. And now we can go ahead and season up our salmon. So just go ahead and add a generous amount of that seasoning. Go ahead and season this to taste. And once you're done applying your seasoning, you're just going to go ahead and pat that in. Make sure that seasoning sticks to your salmon. Now go ahead and flip that over so you can season the other side. And yes, I like to leave the skin on my salmon. You can take yours off if you would like, but I like that crispy skin that it gives when you sear your salmon. As you can see, I have a good amount of that leftover seasoning. What I'm going to do is set that aside because we will be using that to season up our Cajun cream sauce. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and flip our salmon back over. And then we're just going to drizzle about 2 tablespoons of honey over our salmon. And just go ahead and brush that in so that honey is applied all over. If you don't have a brush, you can use a spoon. All right, so now that we are all done, it is time to start searing our salmon. And I'm going to be searing this on a medium to high heat. And you just want these to cook on each side for about 2 to 3 minutes. I like to cook the skin side first. And look what I'm talking about. Look how that skin is nice and crispy, guys. If you know, you know. All right, so once we're done, we're just going to flip that over on that other side so we can get that nice golden brown sear. Once it is done, we're going to flip that over again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sear the sides as well, just because this is a very thick piece of salmon and I just do not want it to be raw on the inside. You want to make sure that salmon reaches an internal temperature of 145. All right, so once our salmon is done, it should look nice and golden brown like this. And now we can move on to making our Cajun cream sauce. But before we make our Cajun cream sauce, we have to go ahead and cook up this bacon. Why? Because we are going to need the bacon fat for when we make our Cajun cream sauce. So what you're going to do is just go ahead and spread out that bacon. Let that cook on one side for about 4 to 5 minutes. After 4 to 5 minutes, you're going to flip that over and let that other side cook. You want your bacon to be nice and crispy, but not burnt. Okay, so now that we are done with our bacon, we're just going to go ahead and remove that bacon from our pan. Make sure we get out all of those little bacon bits. So we can go ahead and add in our onions and our mushrooms. Go ahead and let that saute for a minute. Make sure everything is well combined. And now I'm gonna go in with a little bit of Old Bay seasoning. And then I'm gonna add about 1 to 2 tablespoons of that basil paste. This gives it an amazing flavor. Now go ahead and give that a good stir so all of those seasonings and flavors can marry into each other. And now I'm gonna go in with the grape tomatoes. And of course, you're gonna stir that in as well. Let those get a little bit soft. And now I'm going to go in with about 1.5 cups of white wine. Make sure you stir that in well so you can scrape up all of that fond that was left on the bottom. Now I'm gonna go in with my scallions as well as the garlic. I added the garlic in at this time so it does not burn. All right, so you just want to go ahead and keep stirring that until that sauce reduces to about half. And now I'm going to go in with the heavy cream. And you just want to make sure you stir this in gradually. That way you can get the nice consistency that you want. Make sure your stove is on a medium to low heat. And I'm telling you, that key is to add it in gradually. You do it this way, you will not be stirring for hours. So now that my sauce has thickened up, I'm going to go ahead and add in the rest of those seasonings from earlier. And I'm also going to go in with about 1 teaspoon of crushed red pepper. Now we're going to go ahead and add in our cheese. And I'm using about 1/2 cup of mozzarella and 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese. Go ahead and cut off your stove at this point so you do not burn your cheese sauce. And you're just gonna go ahead and stir that together and just look at how creamy and ooey gooey that cheese is, guys. So now that my sauce is done, I got the consistency that I want. I'm gonna go ahead and add in my bacon. Go ahead and stir that all together. And the last step is just to add in my fettuccine noodles. And you want to add these in little by little. Go ahead and stir that all together. You just want to make sure you don't end up adding too much noodles, because remember, you can always add more noodles if needed, but if you end up putting too much noodles, you're just going to be stuck with a dry pasta, and nobody wants that. All right, so now I'm just going to go ahead and make this look all fancy. We're just going to go ahead and add that salmon on top like so. And then I'm just gonna add a little bit of sauce on top of my salmon. Add a little bit more cheese on top for presentation. And then I'm just gonna add some basil on top for a pop of color. And there you have it, creamy Cajun Alfredo. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it. This was such an easy but delicious recipe. The full recipe will be listed in the description box below, so you guys can make this at home. But yeah, just let me know what you guys think about this recipe. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you tried it. How did it come out for you? I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next recipe.